Hi everyone, it's like stupid late and I really should be sleeping and not vlogging, but I wanted to share while I'm in the zone. Oh, that's actually a little bit funny. You'll see why in a little bit. So I don't know how much I've even talked about this. I feel like I really haven't talked about it much, but I did Landmark Forum back in 2018, I think. I can't even remember. Oh my gosh, my hair, holy cow. On a side note, like I bought this thing today because I was trying to be nice to myself, and it's like this muumuu sort of, like here, see? It's like a skirt muumuu thing, and it's like ridiculously like comfy material, and it has like a little pocket thing like you would have for a hoodie. And then it has like a hood like for a hoodie, so you can like hide if you want to, but there's no strings. There's no strings attached. Oh my gosh, the funny lines I could say. Anyhow, so I did the Landmark Forum. I believe it was back in 2018. It seems like forever ago. And I've done the entire curriculum for living or whatever it's called. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I don't remember the terminology because most of my Landmark notebooks got destroyed in the flood, which blows. So tonight there was a special evening about the Landmark Forum, and Larry Pearson was the one who was leading it. Now, Larry Pearson is obviously a forum leader. He was the person that, so like you do the forum and then you get a seminar series afterwards, which I did. The reason why I said it was funny because I feel like my seminar after my forum was called Excellence in the Zone, which is why I was laughing that I was saying I'm in the zone. I did the seminar. I might have done one or two seminars after that. I found them extremely transformative and life-changing. I know I don't, I don't sound very inspiring right now, as I'm even saying that. It's only because of where I am right now, because we easily fall back into places that we were before, even though life circumstances change. So I did a few seminars, and then I did the advanced forum or advanced class. Again, the terminology changes sometimes, and Larry Pearson did my advanced course. It's funny because my friend, well, I met her at the forum, who did the advanced class with me. I stayed with her that weekend because it was in Boston, and I remember that she wasn't going to go back after the second day because it's like a weekend thing. And I'm like, you have to go back, because I was staying with her. I'm like, if you don't go back, like, where the heck am I supposed to stay? And she did go back, and like I've remained close with her since all this stuff happened. She's much younger than I am. But we very much clicked. And actually, when I hit my 100th day after surgery, I feel like, or maybe it was 100th day after diagnosis, I honestly don't remember. It was 100 days after something dealing with breast cancer. She and I and one other person who did the forum with met up and did a bra burning. And it was a very, very powerful thing for me. And I don't think there were two better people for me to have done that experience with. I probably talked about it on my vlog from the 100th day thing. So, yeah, I did the advanced class, and then, let's see, I did the self-expression leadership program. That's actually where my show got, well, I shouldn't say that's where my show got started. That's where my show flourished. I had the idea of my talk show. It blossomed after the forum. I would say I was discovered at the forum. That's not even what the forum's about. But that happened. And then the self-expression leadership program, you do like some sort of like project or something. And my project was my show. And Larry was the one at the advanced course where like I had the idea of having this talk show, but didn't really know like how to make it actually like happen. And he was extraordinarily empowering, or I felt very empowered after talking to him. And he really turned my world around, where I didn't see myself as a victim of circumstances. I saw myself as this like big presence, because that's how he saw me. And I remember there was a person that was like learning how to be a forum leader. And he was like on the stage with Larry and like doing his thing, kind of like having a student teacher sort of thing. But he just wasn't engaging with the audience at all. And there were a couple of other small things. I don't remember the specifics. But what I didn't like was that after, like when we had breaks and stuff and people were just like chit-chatting in the hallways, people were talking about him, not Larry, the other guy, I don't even remember his name. They were talking about him in such a mean way. And like what they were saying was true, but I don't like gossiping. I really don't. Although I feel like I'm gossiping right now. I don't like when people say nasty things about somebody behind their backs, whether or not it's even true. So the advanced class was over a weekend, and I don't think I said anything the first day, but it was just getting in my space that, like, people start giggling and stuff and making comments, and like the guy's right there. And I'm like, maybe because I'm a teacher, like it just really, really bothered me. So during a break, or maybe it was after one of the nights or something, I went into like the room where the leaders like talk and meet and whatever. And I knocked on the door, and Larry's there, like intimidating. He's not really intimidating, but like he's just a very powerful person. And knocking on the door is like, going to see the principal or something. And I went in there, and the other guy was in there too. And I'm like, well, this is awkward. So I'm like, can I talk to you, like just you? And he asked me what was up, and I just gave him a brief overview, because I didn't want to go into detail and like embarrass the other guy. And he said, like, no one's going to learn about anything unless like I'm open to share in front of both of them. So I did. The other guy's name, I feel like, was Dave. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm almost positive it was Dave, because my ex-husband's name was Dave, or is Dave. And I remember when I was saying, like, the audience isn't connecting with you, Dave, it was weird because I was talking to him, but he has my ex-husband's name, and it was just weird. So to say all these things to someone named Dave was just just bizarre and empowering at the same time for me. Like, I wasn't afraid. It was mostly like I was trying to help him so he could learn. And I didn't really have any wise things to say of what he should be doing differently. I said, I'm not getting what I wanted to get out of this weekend because I'm so distracted by everybody else saying, oh, he's not doing this and he's not doing that. And I just want to tell you that because I want to get all that I need to get from this weekend. And the irony is that's what I needed to get out of this weekend, or that weekend, was having the strength and courage to speak to someone whose name is the same name as my ex-husband, and speak in a way that I felt empowered and in a constructive way, in order to make a change, not only for me, but for the 100 some odd people that were in the advanced course with me. So, so I did that, and either it was after a break or it was the next day. I don't remember. I feel like it was the next day. So when they started, Larry said something about people making comments about the other guy or whatever. And he said, out of all the people that are there, because there's a lot of people in that room, he's like, only one person had the courage to say something to make a change. And he didn't call me out, which I'm glad he didn't. but I had never felt so influential. And it's not about putting somebody else down. It was just like out of a room of 100 and some odd people of very varying walks of life. I mean, some of the people in there, I mean, literally are like rocket scientists and stuff. And like, here's Jen, saying her 2 cents just because I want to get what I want to get something out of the weekend. And it was just a very pivotal moment for me. So fast forward, I did talk to Larry about my talk show, and I think about like where I was kind of stuck because I didn't know like what to do. Like, how do you had this idea? How do you make it come to fruition? And I don't even remember his exact words of what he told me, but it was to the point of like Jen, you have no idea. I haven't cried in a while. It's like, Jen, you have no idea like who you can be, and like not to hold on to what other people might have told you you could be or who you are. Like that I'm a very powerful person and an inspiring person, and I should take this show and I should just not be limited to what it could be. And then after that course was the self-expression and leadership program, which is where I took my show and actually like had very clear goals about what I was going to do, when I was going to do them to get to whatever goal. And I think my goal was to make 10 episodes. And I'd made more than 10 episodes. And it grew outside of Bedford. I think Michigan or Wisconsin was the furthest away that one of my guests was. It's not even about distance. It's just the point of what it was spreading to. And this isn't about plugging my show, like, at all. That's not what this is. I'm just trying to give you a little, like, background as to, like, Landmark and stuff. And how important tonight was for me. Because I did the self-expression leadership program with my show. And then after that, I was so motivated by the whole Landmark, like, organization that I did the introduction leadership program. Or introduction leaders program, and it ended in April of 2020, and March 2020 is when the shutdown happened. So we were traveling. It was weird because part of that program, and they've revamped it, it doesn't have that name anymore. Introduction Leaders Program is what it was. There are weekends that you go to, well, for us, like we went to, it was supposed to be 4 weekends in New York and then like Manhattan. And one of the weekends I couldn't go. So I went out to LA, and did it at their center in LA. And, like one of my friends lived in San Diego, I feel like. The vibe out there is just so different. It's interesting. But met a lot of people and met like new people to interview and like just as friends, or not just, but like as friends, outside of that. And it was just like, look how much this is growing. Like, this is crazy. And like, I'm, here I am jet setting and getting on a plane and going, I didn't fly around to do things at the time. And then like the pandemic happened and, the shutdown happened, and we finished my course through Zoom, but like it wasn't the same, obviously, but I think we only had like 1 or 2 classes left, and then that program was like done. And I did, I feel like I did do a class, they have two courses, related to their communication courses. There's a series of 2 of them. I did the first one in person and the second one through Zoom because it was during the pandemic. And I don't remember if it was before or after. I feel like it was after my kidney stone. Pretty sure it was after my kidney stone. I had brain fog pretty badly back then. I also had cancer and didn't know. But I had brain fog really badly, and I wasn't really able to fully engage with that course because I would be in a breakout room and I would forget what people were saying. And I knew, because I was so heavily involved and I volunteered and stuff there, that I knew people that were there, and I said to them, like, I might not be sharing as much as I usually do, or I'm not as involved because like my memory just is crap and I don't really know what's going on. I just assumed it was the kidney stone. That's what happens. And that's not what was going on. So I didn't get a lot of the distinctions from the communication course just because of where I was health-wise. But what was weird about tonight was that it was the first time that, I don't have the brain fog and stuff anymore. And I was on something engaging, like, full on, that was about Landmark and about the distinctions that they guide you through. And it's funny because the last course that I successfully completed was the Introduction Leaders program, and I was training how to be someone like Larry Pearson, and here I am watching him doing what I was training to do. So a lot came back from that place, but I kind of had to put myself into, I'm not here tonight to train myself. I'm here because I haven't been part of that. I haven't done anything Landmark related since I found out that I had breast cancer. This is the first time I've done anything with Landmark since I found out I had breast cancer. So I'm on the Zoom. There's 100 and some odd people on the Zoom. And I kept my mouth shut for a while. But then there was a group that was just for graduates and, people that have taken a Landmark forum before. And I raised my hand and he remembered who I was. And I said, I followed his advice and I created my show and it won Best Profile Talk Show in the Northeast. And he's smiling and I'm like, and then I got breast cancer. Period. So I'm not going to go through every step of what I didn't talk to him very long. The interesting thing is these leaders have this, talent's not the right word. These skills or these capabilities or whatever, that none of those are the right words, to guide you to realizing things and seeing things in a way that you've just never seen before. And I've done all sorts of self-helpy things and books and whatever, and I've not found anything that's been as powerful as Landmark Forum and Landmark work. As you get further into the Landmark work, is it confronting? Holy shit, absolutely. You have to, confront yourself in a very deep way to get to a place of where you're truly happy and fulfilled. So I'm not going to say that road is easy because it's not. Nothing, nothing good comes easy. It's not easy. I feel like I shared stuff about it before, so I'm not going to get into that with a ton of stuff. But the goal, I feel like, of the evening, because he had us write some stuff down, was to have power, finding ways to have power in the circumstances that life throws at you. So, life threw breast cancer at me, and how do I have power in those circumstances? I don't feel powerful. I get that I'm influential. People say that about me, that I'm inspiring and motivating and all the things. Deep down, I know those things are true. What that looks like from a day-to-day basis right now, I don't know. I don't know, like who I really am anymore. I don't know if I'm supposed to be going back to doing my show and like traveling the world and talking to people. I don't know how much I should be focusing on my weight and, logging my food and being at the gym as much as I am and doing all these things to be so concerned about my weight. I don't know what to wear. I bought this like moo thing today. It's stupid comfortable. It was also overpriced, but I hardly ever like go out and buy myself something, but I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know this body physically. I don't know this body anymore. My boobs hurt. My boobs hurt, and it's almost like 3 years after my surgery, or my original surgery. It's like a year after my second surgery. Like, I don't know what this body is with these medications that I'm on. I don't recognize it. This is not the body I used to look like. And yeah, I'm getting older. Like, I get with the grays. I mean, I'm being down on myself right now, but I'm not having a super great hair day. But that's because it's thrown back in a ponytail. And I know, like, I've lost, oh my gosh, last time I checked, I lost 12 pounds, which is a big deal. And I should be like, yay, go Jen. But I don't know if I'm meant to do that, because can I sustain that? I don't know. Like, am I just meant to be 200 pounds? I don't know. Not if I'm going to be diabetic, because I don't want to be diabetic. I don't know who I am. My arm, like, I got tennis elbow. I feel like I should be starting PT again. I got tennis elbow just because I was getting a little bit too excited with myself playing tennis like a month ago. And I bought, it was getting better, and then it was getting not better. And I bought a brace, or like a compression thingy online, which my trainer at the gym said that I can just like get one. And I've been wearing it for the past couple of days. It's not getting better, though I really pushed myself at the gym on Monday, and today's Wednesday. So that could be why. I had a hard time at Zumba yesterday keeping up with my arms. My legs were fine. My endurance was, can't say my endurance was fine. I started getting dizzy, but I haven't been eating as much, which is why I've been losing the weight. But if I'm not eating that much, that also means like I'm spacey and like dizzy, and I don't want to be that way either. So I don't know how to navigate this body after the whole cancer shit. And like the things I do have control over, like, yeah, my teeth chipped. So I literally like had my teeth fixed, and, whatever else that I could, like when I was having issues after my first surgery, I had a second surgery. Do I want to have a third surgery? Not really, but I can if I want to. Anyhow, so the point was about having power in the circumstances that life throws at you, because I feel like I haven't really had power. So I start to write, and I didn't put my notebook, I just put it on like junk mail, but whatever, it's still there. And he asked us to like think of one area in life that things aren't going the way we would like, and of course mine was health. And this part I shared, and he stopped me on this one. First, I was talking about how breast cancer was limiting me, but I said my new body isn't allowing me to lead my prior powerful life. Like, that's how I feel. And he's like, I'm going to be on you about that. And I'm like, I know. So I'm anticipating getting a phone call or something tomorrow. I don't know. And he suggested that I was going to retake the communication course, the second one, because of the brain fog. I didn't get what I wanted out of it. And when you retake a course with Landmark, by the way, like the price is much cheaper because you've already taken it one time before. But he suggested like the advanced course, doing that again to see the distinctions that I'm not getting around this. Because when I did the form in the first place, I wasn't coming at a place of having health be an issue. I think at that point it was relationships. I had been divorced already, but I had relatively recently gotten out of a 2-year relationship with someone after my I got divorced, and then I was with someone for 2 years, and then when that fell apart, I was really I was crushed. I was it was just so it was crazy. Um and I met someone, uh and she's the one who introduced me to what the forum is, and she just seemed happy, and she was divorced and with somebody else, and I'm like, I just want to be happy like her. Like, how do I do that? And there were a few mutual friends of ours that had also done the forum, and in general, they were very happy too, like smiling a lot, having fun, and I'm like, I want to be like that. How do I be like that? That was what had me get started with that. It was nothing about health. I think I was diagnosed with FMD too, but like that was just kind of a thing on the side because it doesn't really rule anything. But anyway, so one of the things that he walked us through was like literally listing the facts of what happened for me to get to that point of saying that this new body isn't allowing me to lead my prior powerful life. So the what happened is like just factual. It's not what you think. It's not opinions. It's literally what happened. So for me, what happened fact-wise, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had a double mastectomy. No opinions. These are all just like facts of things. I gained 35 pounds. I need to be on medication I wrote 4 more years, but that could just be 2 more years. I don't really know. My body hurts. I don't know if that's facts. I feel like that's facts. I don't know if the cancer's gone. How do you know? How does anyone, this sounds awful, but how does anyone know that they don't have cancer? How do I know they caught it all? I don't know. They don't do, after you have a double mastectomy, they don't do scans for 5 years. If you've had a lumpectomy and radiation or chemo, they do scans much more frequently. If you have a double mastectomy, they assume that they got it all, and unless something really is wrong, they don't do any tests. Well, they can't do a mammogram because you don't have boobs to mammo. You don't have mammos to gram. I've had a couple ultrasounds because of things that were going on after the reconstruction, and they didn't find anything. But the MRI is how I found the breast cancer in the first place. And insurance won't even cover an MRI if you get it done less than 5 years after diagnosis, which like poo-poo to our healthcare system, but is the way it is. I just think 5 years is like ludicrous to have to wait to know if they got it all. I'm tired, but it's factual. It's also late, and I should be sleeping, but whatever. And then there were a couple of people that I knew closely through Landmark that I felt like there was a loss of integrity. I'm not going to mention their names, but one person said they were going to order me and my son dinner to help me out, and they forgot. So, like, it wasn't as big deal for me, but my son had to go to work, and I couldn't make him dinner. So he didn't have dinner before he went to work, which was tough. And then another person, one of my coaches said she was going to set up a meal train for me, but then she didn't. And granted, like, the church brought food and people brought me food and whatever, but when you can't move your arms, you can't make yourself breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So, like, of course, like, I was so grateful for the people at church that brought me food. And I was looking forward to, seeing people dropping off stuff that would have signed up for the meal train, like their support. there was just a loss of integrity because it was never done. So the gist that I wrote down was, I don't know who I am anymore. I wasn't going to read this part, but that want to be very integrous for what the landmark is about. How I got to the I don't know who I am. So the facts that I stated, that's what happened. I was diagnosed, vasectomy, body hurts, gained the weight. One person forgot to bring me dinner. And the other part is the story the story about what happened. There's the what happened, the factual things, and there's a story that you kind of sort of make up about what happened. So because those things happened, and putting my vulnerability hat on, I haven't done this in many years. Oh boy, I'm totally landmark mode now. Because even then I would share like publicly. I that was when I first started doing videos. Oh my gosh, but we would just share it with each other. So what I made that mean, and this is when the waterworks started. Those things happened to me, and the story that I created about that was that I'm not pretty anymore. I'm not desired anymore. I'm not as smart as I used to be. People don't love me like I thought they did. I don't know how to be successful or happy. My rational self knows that half of that's bullshit. But when I look at all the things I wrote as facts, those are the thoughts that immediately get put in my head. And that's when I led to, like, I don't know who I am. Instead of saying, this is one of the things that he said, just because you have breast cancer doesn't mean that you are breast cancer. Which is funny right now, as I'm videotaping myself on my phone at, like, I'm pretty sure it's midnight right now, that I feel like I'm being breast cancer just because, like, I chose to make these vlogs to help people. And, like, is this the route that my life was supposed to go? That, like, I was supposed to stop doing my show and I was supposed to start sharing all this stuff in order to help other people. And I mean, my most viewed vlog has 76.2 thousand views right now, or 76.1 thousand, whatever, close enough. It's not about numbers. Is that supposed to be my path? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to be my path. I don't know. And I think part of, too, why I don't know who I am. So I applied for a new job today, full-time job. I've had 2 part-time jobs for quite some time. Haven't had a full-time job since I was a teacher. I mean, my 2 part-time jobs make a full-time job, but whatever. And I feel like teaching was just like a lifetime ago and a whole, like, different person of me ago. Because with the teaching thing, I was married when I was a teacher. So, like, I wasn't, Ms. Pula back then. I had a different last name. So it's like you're a different person because I had a different last name. And the school where I taught for, like, the chunk of my teaching, I was married when I first started working there. Like, my very, very, very first year teaching, I was still single, so I was Ms. Pula. But then I got married, and that's what I had my new name. So, I don't have that name anymore. Have not, like, I'm looking for a full-time job, not as a teacher. So, like, life change. So I'm super excited about this new job, and I hope by the time I upload this, I have the new job. I'm manifesting that I will have this new job, and I will put these vlogs up and be like, oh, haha, remember when you thought, like, you applied and you weren't sure what was going on, and now you're working here. Haha, how cool is that? So I thought, like, my whole life was about being a teacher. And then I found my show, and then I found community media, and then I found anchoring the news and all these things. And, like, I'm actually reading my resume and, like, getting teary-eyed because of, not so much my resume, actually, my cover letter. I started getting teary-eyed because I was proud of myself as to how much stuff I've accomplished and such a variety of things that I've accomplished, even though they very much do feed off each other, even though they seem like they're not related. Which then became a little overwhelming, which is why it led me to the I don't know who I am. And then what Larry left me with was, because I think somebody else said the same thing too, like, then who am I? If I'm not this, then who am I? If I'm not a teacher, then who am I? And the whole point is you get to create. And that's what he was leaving us with. You get to create. You get to create your story. And how exciting that you don't know who you're going to be. Because you get to start not from scratch. Well, yeah. You get to start from nothing and create whatever you want. And it seems like pie in the sky, like, I'm going to create this and this and this. And then I look around me and I'm like, I am in a new town, in a new apartment, with a new chair, and everything is new. My new scrunchie, my new moo-moo, like, my new coasters, like, everything is new. Because my apartment flooded, that's facts. I didn't really make that too much into a story because I like my apartment and I'm very happy where I am. And I look outside and I'm like, look at the pretty trees. And there's, like, places to sit outside. And I really like living here. Did I create it? Not really. I didn't create coming here. Well, maybe I did indirectly. But when I look around and, like, when you come to a new space, and other than my bookshelf, I think everything else, like, none of my furniture made it. So I look around like I created this home. The couch, the chair. I literally put the chair together. All the parts to it. Like, I created that to create a home. New pots, new glasses, new silverware, like, new pillows, like, everything, new slippers, everything had to be new. I lost, like, my stuff. So it left me with, who do I get to be if I create my story? How I choose to define myself about the breast cancer thing, I don't know. I don't need to figure that out. But I also started by saying, I don't know my story about what happened. And then I started writing, I'm not pretty anymore. I'm not desired anymore. I'm not as smart as I used to be. And all these things. Are those things true? They're stories. They're not facts. They're stories. They're not the same thing. So I don't have an answer. I am going to sign up for the advanced course. And I don't say this like as an advertisement, by the way, because that's not what Landmark's about. Like, the cool thing is they don't have to have commercials on stuff, like on TV or whatever. Because you find these people that have done the forum, and it's like people you don't, like, I mean, like, there's famous people that have like actors or whatever that have done it, company owners and stuff. They just don't make a big deal to talk about it. But then, like, when you come across people and you find them admirable and you're like, what's your secret? And then this pops up. You want what they have. Who wouldn't want an award-winning talk show? I'm purposely like all over the place. I actually got a new tripod today too, or a selfie stick, but it's in my car. Yeah, so I'll sign up for the advanced class and see. Unfortunately, it's also on Zoom, which I'm not super thrilled about. I prefer when it's in person, but I get because of COVID and stuff, it's hard to do that. I know Manhattan is doing the forums in person, and there are other places too. I think California is too. Actually, there's a few places. It's doing stuff in person. Manhattan, the center in New York is like, man, you want to experience powerfulness? Go to the one in New York because our weekends were down there for ILP, the Introduction Leaders Program, and you go there and I think there were like 400 people in the room or something. What's nuts is that the last weekend we had was in January of 2020, and we're in a room in Manhattan, like closed, it's like in one of the buildings by Penn Station, and like you go in this room of 400 people and you have no idea there's a pandemic starting. And like here people are all, it's just crazy to think that like 3 months later you couldn't be with anyone. And then here we are like in a room with 400 people, but nobody knew. Well, I guess people that were not in America maybe knew because it was hitting them first. But, yeah, I remember one person in my course like had this really, really bad cold. Well, thought it was a bad cold. He had this awful cough. Sounded like he had bronchitis or something. I wonder like if he had COVID, but like people weren't talking about it then. So like who knew? But there are places where they are doing it in person. And I would even wear a mask to do it in person versus doing it on Zoom. It's just a whole separate like kind of experience. And it was cool for me too, like when I went to California for that one weekend. It was only because of there was like events going on with my kids that I did not want to miss, which is why I didn't go to New York, and I went out to LA. Culver City maybe I think is where it was. I can't remember. But the vibe, I mean, in general, the vibe on the West Coast is very different than the vibe on the East Coast. So to experience what Landmark's like in California compared to like what Landmark's like in Boston are two like so totally different things. There's forum leaders that say that like Boston is one of the toughest crowds. But the Boston Center actually doesn't exist anymore. The building actually got demolished. They weren't the only ones in the building, but the building got demolished. They turned it into something. I don't even remember. But there's no like physical Boston Center anymore. The closest center from what I know is in New York, which isn't a tremendous drive, but still. All right. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. I need to get some friggin' sleep. I'm tired. But I feel like different. I feel like something's shifting. I can't say like in a good way. It's shifting in a transformative way. And the not knowing, like I'm not scared of, if you subtract the cancer out of all this conversation, I'm not scared of the not knowing. Because like who knew, whatever it was, 10-ish years ago, that like my life would be this right now. And minus the cancer stuff, my life is like pretty good right now. Yeah, it's changed a lot. But like, even though I say things like, I'm not desirable anymore, deep down I know that that's not true. It's just the first thought that comes into my head because I'm my own worst critic. And I feel like my self-esteem in general hasn't been higher. When it comes to the core, like, yes, I'm not happy that I put on the weight, but like, here I am, like, vlogging this in front of all of you, and oh my gosh, it's going 40-some minutes. But I'm not afraid to do that anymore. I have a lot less fear about stuff. And if anything, after the breast cancer diagnosis, like, yes, there's a fear that you're not going to make it. When the doctors tell you that, you're going to be okay, like, you believe them that you're going to be okay. I mean, I was stage 1A, so, like, I believed them that was, that they were going to do their thing and that I would be fine. I didn't realize the stuff that comes with it, with, like, the medication, the weight gain, and, like, your joints hurting, and getting tennis elbow takes longer to heal than what you thought, and all this other stuff, and all the weirdness with after having had the surgeries. But yeah, I'm at this place of transition right now, on the brink of transformation. There are blind spots that I just, well, obviously don't see them because they're blind spots. And I've discovered lots of blind spots in my time doing all this work for Landmark. Not for Landmark, but like, through Landmark. But there are blind spots with this whole cancer journey that I'm just not seeing. And interestingly enough, the leader who did our course in Manhattan that time that I was down there for the weekend, he did all the weekends in New York. The one in California, I wasn't, or the one weekend I was in California, not New York. He actually is a breast cancer, I'm flaking the word because I'm tired. He's a surgeon, but he's like a breast cancer surgeon. Breast surgeon, I guess you'd call him a breast surgeon. But an oncology breast surgeon. Why am I not thinking of the right terms? But you know what I mean. Combine those together in whatever order, that's who he is. And there was somebody else, like, he was referring to when we had that class, that he said it was one of the people that he was, like, leading to, and then he actually ended up doing her surgery when she was diagnosed. I would love to get a hold of him and to have a conversation. I don't know. It's just weird. The whole thing's just weird. All right, I need to get some friggin' sleep. I'm supposed to go to the gym in the morning. Like, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow because, like, I'm all in integrity, and, like, Thursday mornings is gym time. But my right arm, like, it hurts so badly. Like, I don't know how I'm going to lift weights. I don't know. What's weird is, like, it hurt on Monday, and I could lift weights, but I couldn't, like, hold my coffee mug well. It's just the angle that you hold your hand. But I push myself too much with the weights, so they need to, like, settle down. I need to stop trying to be like Mrs. Frickin' Powerlifter or whatever, because my body's just not liking it right now. All right, I'm going to go. Stay tuned. I don't even know when the next advanced course is, but I said I would sign up by Friday, and I'll figure out what it is and make it happen, because I need to not be stuck here. I know, like, I've talked about adding medication, and, like, I'm, all for trying different things and stuff. And the medication's been working. I can tell it has been working. I don't really know how targeted it is to how I'm feeling. I actually went to oncology for a check-in this past week, and she recommended a different kind of medication to take. So I need to bring that up to the other doctor to see if we should try that instead. I don't know. I like my new oncologist. She's like, most people that have that. One weird thing she said. She was saying, like, most people that are on these medications for, like, hormone suppression, your mood is obviously affected, and a lot of people need antidepressants. In the past, I've tried antidepressants, like when I was going through my divorce and stuff, but I just had too many weird, like, and bad side effects. So I couldn't stay on them for more than a couple of days. And I don't really think I was depressed. I think it was just other stuff going on. But I don't know. I mean, she, she said, it's pretty common because of the hormonal aspect. So there's meds that are a bit more targeted than just like generic meds. God, I'm tired. What did she say that I was going to share with you? Oh my gosh. I don't even remember. What the heck was I going to say? Something about hormones. I don't even remember. I'm tired. The tamoxifen too, I'll mention really quick too. She said that, because I asked her, like, what's the game plan with the tamoxifen? Like, am I on the 5-year plan or am I in the 10-year plan? And she said that the 10-year plan is not really becoming a 10-year plan anymore. The 10-year plan is turning into a 7-year plan. Because apparently, again, I'm not a doctor. Please don't quote me on this. But she's told me that they are finding that there's no, maybe it's the way my breast cancer or the type of breast cancer I have, I don't know. But that taking tamoxifen for 10 years has not been showing that that it reduces your risk for the cancer coming back that much more than if you, or at all, than if you stopped after 7 years. So she said no matter what, we would go 5 years and then like assess and see where we are. Oh, what I was going to say is she said something about, like, I told her I hadn't gotten my period since I stopped the Lupron and I was excited about that. And she's like, well, if you did get your period, that might give you kind of a break to have some hormones back in your body because of side effects. And I just had it emblazoned in my head that like period coming back is like bad. And she's like, but it would give you some relief. And I'm thinking, well, wouldn't it also give you some relief to stop the tamoxifen for a short time? Just saying. I don't want my period back. I like wearing khaki pants and like not having to be concerned about it. Like this. Look what color this is. This goes down to my knees. If I had to be worried about my period, I wouldn't have gotten one that was so light. It's nice not having your period. It's nice not, or it's not nice, all the crap that goes along with it. Holy cow, this is long. All right, I'm going to hit stop and go to bed. But it was nice chatting with y'all. And I'll keep you updated as to my transformations and things that things that come out of my weekend. Whenever that's going to be. We'll figure it out. I have 2 days to call and get that all scheduled. All right, I'm going to like totally fall asleep. Good night. Good night. You could be watching this at like 1 in the morning. Although it would still be night. You know what I mean. I'm tired. Good night.